for the next big step of your career? Are you ready for the next big step of your career? Check this out! Kamu bisa pilih karirmu dari business intelligence, data scientist, atau dua-duanya aja. Nggak masalah kok. Apa sih yang bikin Pac-Man berbeda? Yang pertama, kamu bakal dapat kelas dengan kurikulum yang mendalam, dengan learning path yang jelas. Kedua, kamu juga bakal diajar oleh pengajar yang sudah berpengalaman di bidangnya. Kelasnya juga online dan bisa langsung coding loh di platformnya Pac-Man. Selain itu, Pac-Man bakal bantu kamu bikin portfolio project dan bisa bikin end-to-end model. Yap, semuanya online. So, kamu bisa belajar dari mana aja. Udah itu doang. Ya enggak dong. Yang paling ditunggu, harganya affordable dan ada cicilannya. Oh iya, Pac-Man juga punya career coaching. Jadi bisa bantu kamu untuk mencapai your dream career. Selesai program, kamu akan direkomendasikan ke hiring partner Pac-Man loh. Ditambah lagi, Pac-Man dipercaya brand-brand besar untuk pack data mereka. Siapa yang masih ragu? Coba sini ikutan kelasnya. Pac-Man ceritain deh typical week bareng Pac-Man. Senin sampai Jumat, bangun tidur, meeting pagi, kerja, lunch break, meeting sore, olahraga. Pulang kerja, investasi diri bareng Pac-Man. Belajar mandiri, coding, tanya materi di Discord, tidur nyenyak. Tiba-tiba udah weekend, waktunya belajar live bareng Pac-Man. Aduh, stres juga nih WFH plus belajar online. Worry not, ada student manager yang bisa kasih kamu konseling saat belajar. And don't forget to have fun ya. Masih ragu? Come on. Dengerin nih mereka yang pernah ikut kelas Pac-Man.
Apa ya, yang diajarin tuh sangat dalam gitu. Udah sempat beberapa kali ikut tempat lain gitu ya, tapi tidak sedalam yang diajarkan di Pac-Man gitu. Dan tugas-tugasnya menurut saya pribadi juga melatih siswanya untuk berpikir lebih gitu.
Nah, jadi Pac-Man itu saat ini membantu saya untuk mencapai goal saya ke depannya, karena dia itu mengajarkan saya basic-basicnya. Nah, biasanya kursus-kursus lain itu hanya mengajarkan dasar-dasarnya saja, sedangkan di Pac-Man itu lebih mendalam.
Kualitas Pac-Man itu jelas banget seriusnya, jelas banget perhatiannya sama murid.
So, what are you waiting for? Yuk, daftar sekarang.
Oke, selamat malam semuanya. Selamat datang di webinar Pac-Man malam hari ini bersama saya sebagai moderator, dan di sini sudah ada pembicara kita. Di sini ada Tony Liu dan juga Gregorius Vidi. Nah, atau Vidi, kita panggil dia Vidi. Nah, webinar malam hari ini akan dibawakan dalam bahasa Inggris mostly, tapi campur-campur aja gitu. Nanti akan juga mungkin tanya jawabnya beberapa bisa juga dicampur-campur bahasa Indonesia, nggak masalah. Tapi sebelumnya saya mau bacain peraturannya dulu ya. Jadi pertama, selama webinar ini berlangsung, diharapkan untuk mematikan mikrofon dan kamera. Kalau misalnya ingin bertanya, bisa langsung ditulis di kolom chat ya teman-teman. Dan nanti juga akan dibagikan link untuk presensi dan juga feedback-nya gitu. Jadi nanti teman-teman mohon diisi untuk presensi dan feedback-nya. Tapi untuk teman-teman yang dari goers, masuknya itu nggak harus sih isi presensi karena udah ada di aplikasinya ya gitu. Oke, nah nanti untuk video webinarnya akan dibagikan setelah webinar selesai via email, dan juga materinya juga akan ya akan di-share. Tapi untuk sertifikat, karena biasanya ada yang nanyain ya, untuk free webinar ini tidak tersedia sertifikat ya teman-teman ya. Jadi ya kurang lebih seperti itu peraturannya. Jadi kalau misalnya ada pertanyaan atau ada tanggapan, boleh langsung ditulis aja di kolom chat, baik di yang di Zoom maupun yang di YouTube live stream gitu. Langsung di kolom live chatnya aja gitu ya teman-teman. Okay, so without further ado, I think we're gonna invite our speakers here. So first, we have VD. Hello, VD. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, and Tony here. Hello, Tony. How are you?
How are you? Yeah, I'm very good. Yeah.
You're good. Okay. So, yeah, VD is. I'm gonna share my screen first. So, a little introduction. VD here is a data analyst, data analytics in Traveloka, especially in pay later. So he works in financial related field in Traveloka. He works in NPL forecasting, collection model, third-party school integration, etc. So yeah, all financial or fintech related things. Previously, he works as a data scientist, specialized in risk modeling in advanced AI. And before that, he worked as a data analyst, specializing in collection in home credit Indonesia. So it's been almost 4 or 5 years, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, Tony is the original inventor of isolation forest algorithm. Maybe some of you are familiar with it. It's a novel algorithm. Yeah, quite novel algorithm in the field of machine learning. So for you who works on machine learning on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with it, right? So Tony was graduated from Monash University with a PhD in artificial intelligence at 2011, right? And yeah, so Dr. Tony here is the principal inventor of isolation forest, and it is already applied in many platforms and also libraries. We will dig deeper later. Also, Dr. Tony here has an in-depth knowledge in the financial industry, M&A, and fintech after years of experience in the state field. And also, Dr. Tony now is a researcher and works as a professional consultant too. All right. Okay. So yeah, those are our 2 speakers for tonight. Very cool people. So yeah, let's just start our discussion tonight. So yeah, we're gonna start from VD, yeah. So like the title here, we're gonna talk about data product in the financial industry. So yeah, we're gonna discuss about how and why data science consultants help or benefit the financial industry. But before we go there, let's talk about the data product in the financial industry first. So yeah, so Vidi, can you tell us a bit about actually what is data product?
Yeah. So thank you, Nikki, for your time to explaining my background. So basically, data product is a product that basically building based on the consumer data. So it really depends on the consumer behavior data, and it won't work if we don't use the consumer data itself. So for to test, to give some example of it, I try to elaborate with some example. So basically, if we use email in our daily basis, Gmail, for example, Gmail is basically built on the on top of the customer data, but it can use as a product, right? We can use it to send and receive the email, but one of the features that happen in a Gmail is a spam filter. Is built on top of customer data. So we can say that spam filter in Gmail is a data product, but the Gmail itself is not the data product. It's a product, but it's not built on top of the data. Yeah. So I'm quoting one of the quote from DJ Patil. He was a former of chief data scientist of the White House. He said that data product is a product that facilitates an end goal through the use of data. So yeah, with the use of data, we can create a product that's beneficial for others. And the other example, for example, is an explore page on Instagram. If you know it, if you use it in your daily basis, it's created on top of customer data. But the Instagram itself is not the data product. It's a product, but it's not particularly data product. Yeah. Also, if you use Spotify in your daily basis, right, you get the recommended songs. Yeah, it built on top of customer data.
I see. So a product is a product, but when we get some users to use that product and we get the data, and then we like mengolah that data, we can create a data product. Okay. Yeah. So it's usually like a feature in a big product, right? All right. So there are 5 types of data products here. So can you explain us a bit more about this one?
Okay. So basically, we can distinguish the data products into 5 kind of types. The first one is the base layer, or the simplest example from all of 5 examples that I present to you. So the first one is raw data. Basically, raw data is a data that we directly get from our user. It can be stream transactional data. It can be a user click, a user go to another page, something like that. Yeah. Or in industry, we call it a tracker table. Yeah. So the data that coming directly from our user behavior, user apps, it's called raw data, right? And then the second one is derived data. Derived data is another layer on top of the raw data, right? It's more on the aggregate data, or the data that we can daily consume by our business user, by our data team as well as a data analyst, or the stakeholders at the medium level, right? So that I think, yeah, the derived data here is really depends on the raw data, and it's a different product, but it depends on the first layer that I mentioned before. And the third one is algorithms, right? If you have some use case that might be suitable for your business and might be beneficial, we can create some sort of algorithms that can be the solution of our problems that match with our use case. And it builds again on top of the derived data. So if you notice that between 1, 2, and 3, it really depends on each other, right? So we cannot build algorithm without derived data, and we cannot create derived data without raw data. Right? Yeah. And then we have 4 and 5, which is decision support on automated decision making, which the 4 and 5 is basically the enhancement of the third kind of data product, which is algorithm, which the output of the algorithms can be used to make a decision support or decision making, such as we create the automated dashboard that coming from let's say forecasted numbers, something like that. And then the A/B testing, we experimenting the output of our model with some random allocation or with some random probability, something like that. And the 5 is automated decision making. It's an end product that can be used directly with our consumer, right? So for example, I give credit scoring and fraud detection here. So credit scoring, if you applied for lending, or you applied for lending, you want to borrow some money, you must fill in some of the form or application, and then at the end of the day you will get the score whether you got accepted or rejected to borrow that money. Yeah,
I see.
that's
So,
the phase of the data product.
so since the raw data itself, we can call it a data product already.
Yeah. Raw data itself, we can call that a data product.
Oh, that's interesting.
Starting
This
from
is
the
yeah.
Usually we call data product for something that already created, something sophisticated or something complex, right? But from the very simple itself, it's already a data product.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. So yeah. So usually in a company or in an organization, who works with all this data product or who create?
Yeah. Of course. The data team working particularly on that data product. So, but in reality, we working also with several stakeholders. Not only the data team itself, that coming from data engineer, data scientists, ML engineers or DevOps, but also the backend team and product manager. So that's the high level of on how we are working day to day as a data scientist or data analyst in a financial company, right? But I want to mention that in this slide that basically data scientists or data analysts is a team sport, right? So we cannot working alone. We depends on other people work as well, such as if we saw raw data from the previous slide, right? It comes from the back end, right? So it means that we really depends on how they create the tracking table, how they create the API, right? So we really depends on them as well. But in order again to create the product that can be delivered to the end user, such as the automated decision making or the dashboard, then we work with another data team as well, such as BI, business intelligence. We working with the data engineer as well to working on the ETL or extract from load, or we can say that the process of transformation of the data itself. Yeah, we working with data engineer as well, and to build algorithm, to build the model, we working with data scientists. Also, when we deploy it to the production, so that it can be used to other people in the scalable matter, then we can working with the ML engineers, also DevOps as well. So it's a team sport basically.
Yeah. So you rely on each other to create a complex data product. Okay,
Yes.
So let's get a bit more specific here, since you're working in a financial related field, right? So this is consumer lending industry, which is pay later. It's your job, right, to work in pay later. It's consumer lending. So can you explain a bit about the customer journey?
Okay. So basically, as a data scientist, we must know the business and the technical side, right? So from we must be the middleman, right, between the business people or the business stakeholder and technical stakeholder. So that's why I say to you that we must understand the customer journey first before we go into the model, or we go with the solution of this. We use machine learning and other algorithms, right? So to understand on how customer journey in consumer lending, we can divide it into 3 stages. So the first one is the discovery phase. So the discovery phase is basically when a customer identify a need for a financial service, or basically this one is more on the marketing use case, right? So basically we must identify which customer that are more likely will use pay later, for example, which customer that are more likely to pay using credit card, for example, and some So to get the right customer, we must identify first, right? how is our customer persona look like, right? And then after we identify them, we try to invite them to our platform. We try to invite them to our landing, and then we move to the onboarding, right? And this stage involves opening an account. It includes we fill in the form of application. It includes the KYC verification and then the underwriting, right? And then after we approve, we got approved to the pay letter. We got credit limit. We can use those pay letter in our daily basis. For example, if we want to buy a flight ticket, or we want to buy a hotel room, we can use pay letter. And that's that's happened in the stage 3 when we are continuing use the pay letter. Yeah.
I see. So you need to go through these stages to create to design and create a data product, right?
Yes, and the data product itself can be implemented in those 3 stages of our customer journey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So each stage has their own data product.
Yes, correct.
And speaking of data product here, what are the use cases in financial industry besides lending, especially in consumer lending?
Yeah, okay. So I highlight this consumer lending because in my experience, I'm working on the consumer lending mostly. So basically, in those 3 stages, we can implement moreover 5 use case that can be beneficial for consumer lending. The first one is propensity modeling, or basically to give some, to know the probability of user will go to our platform, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the goal of the propensity modeling. Yeah, the goal is to convert as many good users as possible from the raw market population, right? So for example, we got a lot of Traveloka users, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of Traveloka users that using Traveloka, but how do we know which customer that are more likely to use pay later, right? Yes. The users with the high probability to get used pay later, we want to give them a special invitation, for example. And that's the how propensity modeling works, right? We need to choose which users are the right fit for our lending, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second one is risk modeling. Yeah, risk modeling is one of the most important use case because it not only used in our daily basis to accommodate risk appetite, to tightening the process of risk in our lending, but it's only but it can be used also to reporting to our stakeholders, stakeholders such as OJK and Bank Indonesia, Central Bank. Yeah, mm-hmm. So risk modeling basically is one of the crucial part as well. So basically, it includes the application scoring, the one that we see when we apply the pay letter, and it also includes behavioral scoring, where we score you, give you some score each day to know whether you are in the active transaction or not, right? So when you are in the active transaction, you are an active user, you are an active spender, we can give you more incentive, more benefit, for example. Yeah, something like that. And then we come to the third use case, which is fraud detection. And fraud detection itself is a gatekeeper to the fraudster and user generation from the propensity model. Right? So basically, we evaluate the propensity, the output of propensity model in the risk model and fraud detection also, right? So if they are high likely to use our pay letter, but how is the risk of this user itself, right? Is the user that we invited is risky or not? Yeah. So we evaluate them in the risk modeling and fraud detection. And then after the business is growing and we are getting more users, getting more loan, getting more disbursement, then we can try to use time series to forecast whether we are going to profit or not. And then there is a hyper personalization service where, if we want to offer more than one product other than consumer lending, then we can try to expand our product. For example, wealth management. Then we can try to give our existing users the right product, with the personalization service. That's of the use case.
And do you only use data from Traveloka user, or do you combine it with like data from Bank Indonesia or OJK?
Yeah, sometimes we did that in our product. Yeah, but there is a product that we use with internal. There is a product that we use with combining the external. So it really depends.
Okay, I see. And so purpose, it's possible to use data from outside Traveloka.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So where are these use cases implemented in these stages?
Yeah, we can see on the next slide. Okay. Yeah, so basically those 5 use cases can be implemented. For example, in the stage 1, in the discovery stage, we can try to implement the propensity modeling in this stage. Where the first step before we go into the propensity is we did a persona study. Or persona study basically is to identify the characteristic of our customers, right? And then after we try to identify the characteristic of our customers, we would like to some sort of extrapolating it to the raw market, right? By using the propensity model, right? So given the same characteristic of the raw of our customers in the raw market, right? How likely are they going to apply pay later? So basically, the goal of propensity modeling is something like that, to know the probability of the users to apply Traveloka, right? And then after we get the probability of users, then we can give them a right campaign marketing for targeted users, and we can test it with the A/B testing, right? We can test whether our targeted marketing campaign is useful or not from our targeted users. Yeah, and the goal, as I said before, is to convert as many as good users as possible to achieve more growth, basically.
So it's stage 1, and then in stage 2.
Yeah, in stage 2. Yeah, it's more on the onboarding. So basically, after we convert as many as good users, we don't stop at there, right? We as a financial company, we must comply some sort of regulations that created by OJK and central bank. So we need to fill some sort of application, right, from our customers, potential customers, right? And then and that's why we came with the onboarding, right? So we need to fill out that's why when if you for example apply for securities or bank, right, you need to post your selfie photo with KTP, right? So that's one of the part of KYC or checking mechanism that
like verification
mandatory. Mandatory verification from OJK, and that's happened in our pay letter also. So basically, in the onboarding page, we before we sign up, we fill up some personal identification, send the KTP photo with the selfie, and then we run the KYC process, right? We run the KYC process, and we can apply some sort of data product in this onboarding. Yeah. One of the example is OCR, or optical characteristic recognition, right? So basically, the OCR itself will read your or will convert your pictures, your text in the pictures to the text. So it converts image to text. Yeah. So it will convert the fields from your KTP to the text that can be edited. Yeah, that's the use of AI or machine learning as well in the OCR. And then we can put another some QIC verification product as well, such as Lifeness Detection. Basically, it's a product that can be used to detect whether the applicants is a live person or not, or it's just an image. Yeah,
I see.
yeah, basically like that. And then we go with the slick checking. Slick checking is basically collectability checking that come from BI, Bank Indonesia, and then we run the internal credit scoring. Yeah, or we can run also with some sort of external or alternative credit scoring. Or third-party credit scoring that can be useful in our platform as well. And then after that, you get a decision whether you accepted or rejected, and you will start your limit balance after you get accepted.
Okay, so the goal, the output is a decision, right?
Yeah,
So,
decision accepted or rejected, and the limit. Yeah. Yeah. What is your risk criteria, and what is the correct limit for your risk criteria?
Okay. Yeah. And this is the verification, like the one we talked about, right?
Yeah, this is the product that basically I was working when in the advanced AI. So basically, this is the digital identity verification where you can scan the ID document, and then it will automatically translate from the image or the video from to text, and then it will automatically then check your name and KTP number, for example, to our Dukcapil database, right? And then it will give output whether your KTP number is correct or not. And then the output is basically the decision, if that whether you are rejected or accepted.
I see. So what is this one? Live face and face. Risky faces. What does it mean, risky faces?
Yeah, basically risky faces is some sort of product that developed in advanced AI. Basically, it's a product that will compare your face with the face that we flag as a risky person, right? So we have a database of a person that might be due or delinquent in our pay letter or in our business, right? A delinquent means they not paid in time or on time, right? Or they paid overdue, something like that. And we flag them as a risky person. And then after that, we with face comparison algorithm, we try to compare whether the person that we captured in the live application form is a risky face or not based on our risky database. So it's a match. It's a face comparison matching algorithm.
Yeah. I thought it was like criminals or people like face database from the police or something. Is it included in the database?
No, I think back then when I was in advanced AI, it's more on the person that have overdue amount or not paid on time. Something like that.
Okay, so after the decision is made, we are gonna go to the third stage, which is continuing use.
Yeah, basically, use case data product itself not only end in the second phase, but after the users continuing use our product, they use it in a daily basis. They might be some sort of case when this user will pay late, right, or paid not on time, and some of the users might pay on time, right? So that's when our collection team is working. Yeah, collection team is part of risk team in consumer lending, usually that works to get the money back. Yeah, so they will try to call you or send you a message to give some notification to pay the loan that you have not paid, right? And that's the data product can be implemented as well, where we can allocate the users with the risky behavior and non-risky behavior. Again, we will try to differentiate users based on their behavior, right? Okay, they paid on time. They paid late, but is this user are going to self-cure or paid without the treatment, or gonna pay with the treatment, right? So that's how collection model works. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we will allocate the right treatment for the right person, right? Because the business logic is something like this, right? If we try to apply some sort of hard treatment, or you will go right into the debt collectors, but you will pay on time. Basically, your behavior will pay not really on time, but maybe in the DPD 0 until DPD 5, or you will pay maybe 5 days more late, right, than usual. Then you cannot go straight into the debt collectors, right? Debt collectors is for the person that not paid maybe 60 days
I see.
or 90 days. Yeah. So that's how we allocate the soft treatment. The soft treatment, usually we just send the notification, or we just call you by an automatic call robot, or by our desk agent, right? It's different with the users that will probably pay 60 days after the due date, right? Or 90 days after the due date. So that's collection model works. We allocate people with the right treatment.
Okay, so this is where more human touch is included, right, in this stage.
Yeah.
I see.
And how we automated allocate it? Yeah, with collection model. So it will run automatically to allocate agent to the right person.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So it's more like we don't need to decide manually which treatment to apply in particular user. Okay.
Yes,
so and then in this stage 3, there are graduate user, and so the treatment is also different between these stages of user, or something like that.
Basically, for these stages, this is different with the collection, but this is more on the how we utilize the good one, right? So if the users is paid on time, then they transact maybe more than their maybe then they transact maybe half or maybe using full of their limit, then maybe we can try to give them some more benefit, such as increasing their limit and give them more discount and more benefit to transact with our partners. Or we can use that as a gamification process, whether they can from starting from the new users to the graduate to the loyal users, or we can downgrade the users based on their transaction behavior and purchasing behavior. So another use case that we can be implemented in this stage is not only the collection, but when we try to gamification the users itself, we can try to score the behavior of the users, right? When we try to score the behavior of the users, then we can try to gamification them, right? We can try to increasing their limit or downgrade their limit, increasing their benefit or downgrade their benefit, right? So that they can be, some sort of gamification maybe can, give the users motivation to transact more and more. Yeah, that's our goal, to make users more active.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So those data products are not just for the sake of automation or like for just for the sake of increasing transaction, right?
Yeah.
Those data products are also used to improve the
To retain
business
user.
itself. To retain users, yes.
Yeah. To
So
retain user.
many aspects of the business is improved by the data products, right? I
Yes,
see.
yes, correct.
So yeah, how do you deliver a good product or solution for the business?
Okay, so basically this is one of the example of credit scoring, that we applied in the approval scheme, right? And basically in this page, I want to emphasize to all of the audience that as a data scientist, we must be the middleman again, between the business and the technical, and also we must be the middleman also with within the business stakeholders itself. Yeah. For example, in this case where we applied credit scoring model in the application, right? We must choose the best cutoff of our acceptance criteria. For example, if we try to implement the high cutoff, then we might face to lose some of the potential users because we applied the scores more strict, right? Than before. But if we loosening the approval criteria, or we might lower down the score of the score cutoff, then we might increase the risk after the continuing use in our daily basis. So as a data scientist, we must really we must not only give the score or the probability to our stakeholders, but we need to some sort of give them recommendation as well between the marketing and credit risk, for example, right? Marketing goal is basically to get as much as user as possible, right? So their goal is to get many users, growth basically, but the goal of credit risk is to maintain the risk, maintain the NPL, for example, the non-performing loan. So that's the data scientist can come to be the middleman between those departments or those groups, right? And we can, and then at the end of the day, we can get more users with the low risk, as possible. So that's the goal of our credit scoring. And that's on how I want to emphasize that. Again, that scientists should working with together alongside with the business, back and forth, not only deploying the algorithm or create the algorithm.
I see. So we've talked about credit scoring and customer lending product here, especially in one of them is Traveloka Pay Later. So other than that, we maybe we are already familiar with other fintech products, right? Like digital wallet or digital bank and stuff. But what are the future? What do you think is the future is heading towards?
Okay, so basically I point out two from my perspective and my experience that will happen in the financial industry in the future. So the first one is more automation data product. It will happen with two kind of approach, right? So the first one is the implementation of complex algorithm, right? So we see nowadays there is a new technology that use the reinforcement learning. Basically reinforcement learning is some sort of machine learning algorithm that can be used or can be used in a game, right? So it's like you play a chess with a computer, but the computer itself embedded with the AI algorithm. Yeah. The AI algorithm that embedded in a chess computer is a reinforcement learning, basically. So the reinforcement learning basically is an algorithm that will try to maximize the rewards learning, or maximize the potential of the rewards that they will get in the future. And based on that idea that developed with games, right? Many researchers nowadays try to implement the reinforcement learning with the deep reinforcement learning for automated stock trading. So in the future, maybe we might see that there will be a bot that implement with the reinforcement learning that can be automated play your stock game, right? So it can be taking profit or cut loss based on their algorithm.
That's interesting.
And then,
so they learn as they go.
Yeah, they learn as they go. That's how the reinforcement learning works. And then there is a multi-arm bandit as well for experimentation. This is come with a multi-arm bandit. Basically, it's one of the algorithm that come from reinforcement learning as well. So and it can be used for experimentation. It can be used for experimenting whether our product is good or not based on our market. So yeah, basically it's same like an A/B testing, but with more complex algorithm. It's like a multi-arm bandit. And then the second one is automation data product with the combination of algorithm, such as isolation forest for anomaly detection. That maybe Tony will explain it more deeply about that. And it can be combined as well with the other algorithms, such as supervised learning. You can try to combine it with logistic, random forest, or any kind of supervised learning. And isolation forest itself can be used for data labeling, automated data labeling. Yeah, isolation forest basically is unsupervised learning. It can be used to flag or cluster whether they anomaly or outlier or not, right? And that can be used to data labeling, because nowadays data comes very fast, and to get label of the data, we need more time, we need more resource. So if we can automate the process of labeling, it can be very beneficial. It can be very saving costs of our organization, right? And the second one is ML Ops as a service. Yeah. This point, I saw that this point will happen soon, because the wave of digital banking that I saw nowadays, and yeah, digital banking basically it's a branchless banking, right? So there will cut more branch in some of the region, right? And to apply as a customer, we just open the apps and apply there, right? And of course, it will require more automation process. In the automation process, it will require more ML use case to be implemented, right? So to get more ML use case to be implemented, we must implement the ML ops, or the the backbone engineering of the machine learning, the infrastructure of machine learning as easy as possible. And that's ML ops as a service will come as a solution to that, right? And the goal of ML ops as a service is to help the team to create a collaborative environment for continuously developing machine learning models and deploying them with hassle-free. So you don't need to create a lot of team from the scratch. You just use ML ops as a service, right? You just use the right tooling for your team, and then boom, you can create an entire ML ops with a software, ML ops as service,
That's
something like
that's
that.
very interesting. So maybe our
Yeah.
digital banking apps will run faster.
Yeah,
Right.
and it will cut the headcount of
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
of the data team as well, I think.
Yeah, it's
But
more
yeah, let's see it in
efficient.
the future. Yeah,
I
it will
see.
be
Oh,
more efficient.
yeah, that's very interesting, yet maybe alarming for some people. Because
Yeah,
it means that some people will lose their job, or well, they can create the ML ops itself, like create a new
yeah,
job,
yeah,
right? When a job
yeah,
is
yeah.
losing, another job is created. All right, so maybe let's conclude our discussion here
Okay,
before we move on to Tony.
okay. So yeah, my conclusion from the previous slides is basically a different product will requires different objective or goals, and it will need different metrics to optimize as well, right? So be careful of what you build, be careful of what you created. Always working alongside with the business person, because they will guide you to get the goal, to get the metrics that may be beneficial for your company. And then always iterate the process with the product and business team. Yeah, that's my key takeaways on how we should working together, whether as a consultant or whether as a internal data team. And then in building the solution, always start with the simple approach for the problem, right? If it can brings you 50% to reach the goal, then yeah, machine learning might be just the complementary of it. So let's always start with the simple approach first. And then the second one, as a data scientist, we must become a middleman, right? Between business and technical users. So that being said, that soft skill is really important. Yeah, soft skill is really important. Please do practice more on how you present your ideas, how you do the storytelling, because the business user might be confused on what are you talking on, because yeah, it's sometimes it's too technical. It's not really represent what they really need. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, soft skill is criminally underrated in the for most of the scientists. So yeah, please train your soft skill more, and yeah, practice a lot of it, I think.
I see. So yeah, that's about the data product, especially in customer lending field, or industry. Yeah, that's just one of the many products in financial industry. So yeah, there are many more opportunities, and also like Fidi said, there are many things. These are only two examples, right? The future of financial technology. And also, well, if you want to contact Vidi, you can connect with him through email or LinkedIn. Okay, so yeah, before we continue, thank you very much, Vidi, for the discussion. Yeah, we're gonna get back to you later in the Q&A session.
Sure.
Let's hear some. Let's discuss with Tony. But before that, let's please fill in the presence here, form presensinya. Tolong diisi, bisa di scan di sini sambil kita panggil Tony. Hello Tony, can you open your camera?
I open it.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Good.
So yeah. So Fidi told us a bit about his prediction about the future.
Exactly.
Of
Yeah.
financial industry.
I'll add my take on it. I do agree. The deep reinforcement learning. In fact, I was playing with it with one of the GitHub project on deep reinforcement learning stock trading. 15% a year on S&P 500. So yeah, certainly something to look forward to, and interesting development. I think there's a lot of refinement required. Let's start our journey. A different part of it. Maybe I can talk a bit about or maybe just go back to that slide. Just talk a bit about my experience in Indonesia. you know what I did? I was first come to Indonesia in 2015 as the data analytic for the tax office, Kantor Pajak. And at that time, they were preparing for the tax amnesty and also bilateral free trade agreement. So I was appointed by the Australian government to help them to set up the infrastructure. Later on, I went to Sinama's conglomerate to help them to do a few different things. So I'll also mention that in the probably last slide in my presentations. But a lot of experience I got from academic and also from the industry. Probably a rare breed in terms of like experience in both worlds. Like I've got a foot in the academia and also got a foot in the industry. Next slide, please. Yeah, so first thing I want to talk about is the random forest. It's very close to my heart because I spent 4 years just dreaming of what can I do with my PhD, and that is the end product. After 11 years, it's implemented in a lot of different platforms in H2O, Scikit-learn, Waker, AWS as random cut forest. They got a time series kind of implementation in there. Spark and SES. SES, I didn't put it in here. SES is a really old analytic platform, but a lot of the bank actually use it. So watch out for that space. Yeah, next. Also, it featured in Kaggle's Medium and Analytic Vidya. And a lot of articles, I can't name them all, but it seems to be very useful in fraud detections. Yeah. And back then, we were actually using it against an algorithm from NASA. It's called Orca. And in a 1 million point transactions or network intrusion detection task, isolation forest clock 15 seconds versus Orca 900 and something seconds. So it's a significant improvement in terms of speed. Yeah, and the accuracy is comparable. Yeah, it's similar. Yeah. Next.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now I usually don't do that, but I thought just a quick deep dive, and I thought the mechanism of isolation forest boiled down to abnormally are few and different. Now I'll let you sink in a bit. So abnormally are few, so they are small numbers of the data points in your database, and they're different. So they have to have features that separate them from the mainstream data. So there's 3 steps to understand the isolation forest. It's very layman, so I actually tone it down a lot. So build randomly generated binary tree from data. So you can slice and dice your data in random fashions. So you split the data into 2 parts and you continue to do that. And then you form a binary tree, just look like the one on the lower left-hand side. Then you pass all the data through this tree again, and then see where they end up. So the path from the root node, the top nodes, to the leaf node is what we call the path link. So very interestingly, the outliers or the abnormally are shown up in the short path link. And then you got a visualization on to your right. You got XI is a normal point. It's deep inside the cluster, and you can see a lot more partitions is required. So 1 partition is equivalent to 1 path link, and then to separate from the rest of the data. Now XO on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side, is the outlier or abnormally points, and then you can see it's only like 4 partitions, and you can isolate out. So hence the name isolation forest. A lot to take in, but give you a few seconds to just sink in. Very simple. What it enables you to do is to run the algorithm in parallel computer without any dependency. So like all 100 or 1,000 trees can be built like simultaneously. And then there's no criteria. You just do a random split on the data. There's no calculations involved. That's why it's so fast. Next slide, please.
Okay. I was thinking it in.
Yeah. So yeah, feel free to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah, along
Sure,
the way.
sure.
So this is my updated Google Scholar. Over the last 11 years, I clocked at about 2029 or 2,292 site count. So each of these represent a peer review conference or journal paper citing my original paper, which is quite phenomenal. So to inspire the next generation of researcher, I know the norm is to publish for the sake of publishing, but I challenge you, be groundbreaking, okay? Find something niche, publish it, and then have lots of site count.
Okay, yeah, that's a good advice. Okay.
Yeah, so before we start about this, to talk about the future, just talk about like what I've observed over the last few years when I was in Indonesia. So 2015, I was landed in Jakarta, just working with the tax office. So it's the first time they have Hadoop well, first time for the public sector to start looking into Hadoop. And at that time, it's also very active with like police force and BPS to look into using Hadoop. And yeah, that's the what was hot at the moment. And 2016, the Analytics school kind of emerges, focusing on R and Python. So why is it the case? I later on find out the usual university, when they need to change the courses, there's a lot of red tape, so they can't really move with the flow, as you say. Yeah. So that's why a lot of the Analytics school kind of come to fill this gap. And then in 2017, there's a lot of incubators, startup, and e-commerce, insurance, fintech, wealth tech kind of like pop up everywhere. 2018, the trend continue. You start to see like hackathon, startup pitches, and Google, AWS, Ali Cloud, all comes into Indonesia. It is an opportunity. And at that time, I was still doing a bit of program committee reviewer on academic conference paper. 80% of the paper are in computer visions. So now you can go to Beijing, you look at the vending machine, press the buttons, they look into your eyes, you look into the screen, and then they will just give you, your pay. And then you can grab your drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the outcome of all the computer visions technology that's happening. Now, year 2019 is interesting. It's a year of COVID, but it's a catalyst of full digital transformation. It actually speed up the speed of digital transformation. A lot of the company, they have to think about, work from home arrangement, pay, the digital payment is also become very popular. And then year 2020, everything digital, like school, office, shop, clinics, bank, insurance, investment. And then 2021, I can sense a bit of economic consolidations. And also, interestingly, there's a technology breakthrough like GPT-3, BlenderBot 2. We're going to touch on that a bit. Not DeepFake. DeepFake is not really useful in finance. So yeah, it can be for entertainment business, but yeah.
Not really useful in financial sectors, or maybe not yet.
Probably something that we have to guard against.
Yeah.
Like the facial recognitions, like if you show up or you just use a deepfake to say, oh, I'm that person, and it will pass the test.
Well, not a good use of deepfake in financial sector.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's right. So I won't go through the video, but if you're interested, have a play of that video. So GPT-3 is speaking to the host, and they have a conversation. The funny one is like, what's the meaning of life? 42. And it's very smart.
It's movie, right?
But when you actually go down and talk to GPT-3, that was a well-scripted kind of TV show. But when you actually talk to GPT-3, you find that it hasn't got the concept of the real world. It doesn't understand you got legs. You actually have to walk on the ground. and you breathe air, and that sort of concept is missing. So here I'll just offer you my prediction of GPT-4. What will happen to GPT-4 is that it will have a better understanding of the world, and also now this one I know it kind of alarming, all right, but it will replace some of the career like programmer, writer, accountants, project manager, and TV host. Now, when we used to have like small shop selling drinks and transitions to vending machines, the job is being created is the vending machine engineer. So think about that. And I'll talk a bit about that in the last few slides. Yeah. And the thing about what is happening in the future. So there will gonna be a lot of AI that need to be managed, that need to be controlled and things like that. So think about what your career path is. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can move to next one. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and another interesting kind of innovation from Facebook is BlenderBot. They just released the version 2. So what is the added features in version 2 is that it actually remember new things. And so if you look at the conversation, it will say, oh, what's your favorite sport team? And then at one stage, it will just go into internet and search for the best player of that sport team, and then say, oh, I like this person, and put it in a long-term memory, and then continue the conversation. Yeah. So this kind of interaction, so make it more lively. And then my predictions, so my future prediction of BlenderBot 3 is that it will have programmable personality. Now, this feature is already in GPT-3. You can actually tweak it to start off with a personality. And the next thing is programmable directive. So you might want to program it to say, okay, can you get that person to buy this, to cross-sell, and to maybe ask a question usually that people don't want to answer. That will be the kind of innovation I think it will happen in BlenderBot 3. But maybe they will not release it, because if it's so powerful, why would you release it into the open source? But we'll wait and see. But I think they probably have BlenderBot 3 and 4 in their repository already, but not shared to the public.
Yeah. Better to just sell it.
Or they're using it to make money. Anyway, so trend-wise, what's happening in the AI space? We usually define AIs in 4 senses. Your 4 senses: you can see, you can hear, you can reason, you can listen. So that usually define, like, you can see the narrow AI, like for example, VD talk about facial recognitions. Some of you might have an app from the government say you only will test your voice to see if you're that person, and then that's the voice recognitions. Then you have robot reading the internet, and then or maybe the robotic trading, so reason and make decisions, listen, and that's voice to speak to chatbot. So that kind of technology. So the direction is moving to artificial general intelligence. Now, no one has come up with a solid solutions of that yet. A lot of contender like Alexa, Contara, there's Apple, and then there's Google Assistant, but not there yet. But it's looking like it, but not a perfect one. I haven't pulled out the example of digital assistant that's very popular this day. Like, it will make a booking for you. It will put in an appointment for you, answer your phone call and everything. So we're moving to that directions. Yeah. And something a bit alarming is that AI warfare, AI as a weapon. So how does it? I mean, I've been reading a bit and also be tap on the shoulder on that a bit lately. But what it is you can use AIs to change the opinion of the world. Why does it matter? Election result, consumer behavior, work efficiency, social development, national security. You can actually push the presidents down from a country. That's scary. How does it happen? I don't know whether you noticed. I've read a lot of articles online to say, yeah, the first few sentences kind of make sense, but it kind of loses the sense halfway through. Is like very ambiguous. Yeah. So it interact with you through all these different channels. And what's the verdict? Whoever got the best AI win.
Yeah, so that's interesting how technology actually touch our social part of, I mean, like our society in the social aspect, not only technological aspect.
That's right.
Like it changes how we interact and how we think. It actually happens.
Yeah, it actually happened. I don't know whether you feel it, but I felt a lot. I'm looking for article, but it just halfway through it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it kind of rhyme and roll off the tongue, but just something is missing. But it will get cleverer and cleverer, and I think we'll see an AI war going on, and maybe in the next world war will be an AI war. Anyway.
But those articles that doesn't make sense still help create the trending, right? Like create the trend.
People read the title and then they kind of form their opinions and they say, oh, if a lot of people think like that,
exactly.
I think that should be correct.
That's actually like logical fallacy, but well, we humans are prone to it, so that works.
Okay. Now, future of AI. I'm making two predictions here. We can come back a year and we'll see whether it's valid. So I say the conversational robot will replace mobile and web app. Now, a lot of the robot, every company actually have a robot, but when you interact with them, you find that they're very dumb. You can only select from the menu or only with what the limited knowledge that they have, the scope of things that they can do. But I'll say they will become cleverer and cleverer, and new functionality without app updates. So one of the good features is that you don't need to update your app. You just need to update the algorithm behind, and the messaging app, the chatbot will actually update the functionality. And also one of the benefits is full context awareness of the individual customers. So if you find yourself like keep repeating, filling the form for the bank or for the insurance, it will, like, one of the benefits of having conversational robot is that whatever you have answered before, it will store in the database and it will just go and maybe confirm with you without asking too many questions. Say, is that still the case? You say that in the past, is that still the case? And then once you confirm yes, it will just enter the data for you without going through a long and lengthy form. Now, another prediction I'm making, and I'm seeing that in other countries, is your e-wallet will become banks' investment and borrowing platform. So there's your saving, your spending, your investment. And if you need money, you can just borrow. So money will flow frictionally between saving account, investment, and borrowing. Now, what does it mean to large organization, corporate? Is that you should rethink your CRM, Customer 360, Marketing Analytics. Just name a few there: onboarding, credit scoring, debt collections, upselling, cross-selling, recommender model, because the interactions will be totally different. And then you think about how to do that. And also, like, if this is a trend, you probably want to invest your energy into those technology before someone else catches up. Okay.
Maybe video will benefit from this advice.
Traveloka, definitely. Now, to answer your question, Nikki, you asked, how and why data analytic consultancy help the financial industry. So I'm building a consultancy. My main clients are large bank and insurance. I won't name my customer, but a lot of the questions is around what do they do? What should I do? I got a large company. I have a lot of data. What should I do? I'm running this program already, but yeah, how do I measure the success? Then we have this value and effort discussion. So how much value you put in and how much value you can get out. So there's a concept of value graph. Maybe I should put it in next time. And the second question is who to hire. And third question is what technology to invest. So these are the scope in which a data analytic consultants will talk about. Now, the thing is, if you adopt a technology too early, it probably is too expensive. I still remember the price of Hadoop, very expensive, but now it's like cheap as water. And if you are late adopter, you miss the opportunity. Other competitor already grabbed the market. So you miss your opportunity to use the latest technology to advance your business. So that's this trade-off. So with all this is the scope of data analytic consultancy for particularly financial industry. Other industry may be a bit different, but for financial industry, these are the three main questions we can answer. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So how do we actually face
prepare ourselves for the future?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a good book. I was reading it, and the title say how to be smart when the machine are smarter than you. Now, the machine is not smarter than you at the moment, but when it happens, what do you do? Or you can ask the same question in the past. What do you do? How to survive when a vending machine is selling the soft drink for you? Okay, same question. So principle number one, work backward from the future. So it's good to have a handle of what the future looks like. Aim for 100x, not 10%. Yeah, very hard. Yeah, 10x. How do we do it? Think computationally. So you would say, okay, to process this amount of data will take me these resources, like maybe one server, 3 hours. To process 1 million, how many server do I need? So the famous kind of speech from Jack Ma is, if I need to provide a service for one provinces, I just need to put in a server. How much is a server? I'll give it the most expensive one, $20,000. Electricity, maintenance, say $50,000. $50,000 versus 10 physical branches. Of course, he wins. He's doing a bank business, right? Yeah. So that's the logic. Okay, that's the logic. And I also like particularly number 6. Don't work, design work. So there's 3 types of people: thinker, manager, doer. So which type are you in? And number 7 is also important: automate and elevate. So automate. If you can automate anything, just automate and don't ask questions. Just automate. Okay. Yeah. And then you lift your performance. All right. Number 10 is also important. Number 10 is also important. So a lot of AI can do, say, facial recognition. You can use it for fraud detection. Yeah, that's for profit. It can also solve some social issues. Like lately, I was talking to one of my partner. We're looking at orang hilang. Yeah, so missing person. Yeah, so if you have an ecosystem where the relative of the missing persons take a picture of what they have, and then send it to a central repository, and then whoever find a new person in their village can take a picture, that will solve a social issue. So not just for profit. Think about bigger things to solve.
I see. So I'm curious about your favorite point. Let's elaborate it further. Don't work, design work. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, if I'm in a, say, logistic company, some of the work is you lick the stamp and you put it on, you put in a truck, right? But you design work, you say, I design a labeling system, say this person barcoded, and then move it on, and I have a database full of items. Then I can track, so I become a manager. Even better is like you come up with the idea, you get people to finish the work for you. You become the algorithmic leaders, like why Amazon is so powerful and so famous. Jeff Bezos and a lot of money. Yeah, he's probably is it the first or second richest man in the world. Why? Because he don't work, he design work.
Oh, okay, so like create a system, like working system.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting. And what about point 8? I don't really get it.
Yeah. Now, Bifara. That is Bifara. So if the answer is X, ask Y. So there's always related item that you need to know. The strength of a human being is that we can reason. Yeah, that is not a strength of the AI yet. So make use of your strength. So if I know in some culture we just told to do X, we just keep to do X. But in this culture, we say if the answer is X, ask why, or the literal why. You know, why is that happening?
Yeah, the literal why. Yeah. This is very insightful. Only in one page from a very rich book. Right. So thank you for the summary. Maybe I'll definitely read this book. All right. So thank you, Tony. So maybe there is a little sponsor message here.
Page for my sponsor, SMM Tech Connect. So Cinemas Mining. So it's one of the kind of company that I'm very dear to, and they are using a hashtag SMF Tech Connect to connect all the initiative. Feel free. We want to build a talent-focused kind of enterprise with STEM, like science, tech, and engineering, math capability as the focus. So if you're interested to explore more business opportunity, employment opportunity, training opportunity, feel free to connect. My email and LinkedIn page, I think is in the next page. So happy to talk to you if you have any bright idea and any suggestions.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you
for the talk. That's very interesting and insightful. So teman-teman semua di sini yang punya pertanyaan boleh langsung ditulis di kolom chat, baik di Zoom maupun di Cakap, aplikasi Cakap mungkin, atau di YouTube live stream. Okay, so but before we go to the Q&A section, ada sedikit pesan sponsor dari Pacman. Is that okay? Let's take a break and mendengar sedikit pesan sponsor. Oke, Mas Bilal di sini boleh dibuka kameranya dan silakan untuk presentasi.
Selamat malam semuanya. Aku ingin mempresentasikan untuk non-degree program dari Pacman. Jadi ini. Oke, teman-teman semuanya. Di era sekarang memang kita sudah mengetahui dan berdasarkan juga dari webinar ini semuanya tentang machine learning, semua tentang data science, dan memang di era sekarang data itu akan bertebaran di mana-mana karena IoT karena mau menuju ke era 4.0. Dan juga menurut Michael Page, data talent itu one of the most wanted position dengan salary di kisaran 15-50%. Ini benar banget karena kalau misalkan kita lihat lowongan kerja itu juga banyak mencari data scientist dengan gaji yang rata-rata tinggi. Dan juga menurut McKinsey 29 juta masyarakat Indonesia membutuhkan skill baru untuk menyambut di era 2030, dan ini adalah salah satu wake up call dari Pacman untuk bisa memberikan edukasi tentang data yang terbaik dan melalui non-degree program Pacman, karena memang di era sekarang data itu sangat banyak digunakan di marketing, operation, human capital, finance, engineering, dan beberapa semua bidang itu membutuhkan data. Makanya Pacman memberikan edukasi yang terbaik untuk student-student Pacman yang ingin belajar data lebih dalam. Dan kenapa harus Pacman? Karena Pacman itu sudah melakukan proyek-proyek yang berkaitan dengan data dengan perusahaan-perusahaan besar juga gitu, seperti Busy, seperti Philip Morris dan juga Astra International. Jadi memang Pacman itu sudah bekerja sama dengan perusahaan-perusahaan besar dan sangat data oriented, jadi patut dipercaya untuk bisa memberikan edukasi yang terbaik. Terus made by the best, enjoy by the rest, karena akademisi dan profesional kita itu sudah bekerja di perusahaan-perusahaan besar dan juga mereka itu juga para lecturer juga di bidang data, jadi mereka itu sudah bergerak di bidang data sebelumnya. Terus True and Trustworthy dipercaya 400 siswa dan 180 institusi. Kita memang dipercaya dari berbagai latar universitas di seluruh Indonesia. Dan juga kita juga menciptakan pedagogi yang cukup bersahabat dengan The Golden Triangle. Jadi untuk semua kalangan yang ingin belajar data science, yang mau background-nya non-IT maupun IT sekalipun, itu tetap bisa relate dengan knowledge data yang kita berikan kepada student-student Pacman gitu. Jadi tidak usah khawatir jika memiliki skill yang belum punya skill di bidang IT atau non-IT. Nah, ini adalah program dari Pacman. Jadi Pacman itu memiliki 3 program, yaitu Business Intelligence, Data Science, dan BI plus Data Science. Jadi digabung jadi satu, Business Intelligence selama 6 bulan, Data Science selama 8 bulan, dan BI plus Data Science itu berlangsung selama 10 bulan. Ini adalah learning pathway dari Pacman. Jadi untuk kelas Business Intelligence dan Data Science di periode Oktober, jika mendaftar di September ini akan masuk ke periode Oktober ya, sampai November. Jadi untuk periode Oktober sampai November itu untuk kelas Business Intelligence dan Data Science nanti akan diajarkan bahasa pemrograman Python dan juga bahasa pemrograman SQL. Terus masuk ke Desember sampai Januari, untuk kelas Business Intelligence dan Data Science nanti akan masuk ke data wrangling atau data manipulasi ya, untuk memanipulasi data, dan juga data visualization atau memvisualisasikan data dengan dashboard. Nah, itu adalah kurikulum yang nanti akan diajarkan di periode Desember sampai Januari. Terus masuk ke Februari sampai Maret, untuk kelas Business Intelligence itu sudah berakhir dan diakhiri dengan knowledge bisnisnya, yaitu Business Intelligence itu sendiri. Nanti diajarkan secara mendalam tentang business insight di situ. Terus juga berdasarkan, karena sudah berakhirnya kelas Business Intelligence, nanti akan ada project manajemennya gitu. Atau kalau bisa dibilang itu seperti thesis ya, atau skripsi di akhir. Jadi skripsi di akhir itu mengerjakan tugas, nanti diberikan dataset, dan juga dataset itu akan dinilai bagaimana kita menganalisis data secara baik dan benar berdasarkan perspektif business intelligence. Nah, itu diakhiri kelas business intelligence, terus berlangsung kelas data science yang masih berlanjut. Nah, nanti di periode ini nanti diajarkan information learning, terus juga econometrics dan casualty untuk pembelajaran data science, dan masih berlanjut sampai bulan April. Nah, masuk ke bulan April sampai Mei, kelas data science itu juga berakhir dan diakhiri dengan intro to machine learning. Terus juga diakhiri juga sama seperti kelas Business Intelligence, ya seperti tesisnya atau skripsinya, yaitu project management dan project lab. Jadi nanti akan dikasih dataset, dan dataset itu nanti akan di-solve problemnya, dan tetapi kalau data science itu menyelesaikannya itu pastinya dengan model machine learning yang akan diajarkan di kelas Pacman. Itu perbedaan antara Business Intelligence dan Data Science. Nah, untuk fasilitas yang ada di Pacman itu, jadi untuk semua murid Pacman akan diberikan 50% diskon bagi semua yang mengikuti webinar atau workshop yang akan diadakan oleh Pacman. Terus juga nanti di dalam kelas itu ada counseling session. Jadi counseling session itu kalau misalkan murid ingin bertanya tentang bagaimana sih cara mencapai karir dengan benar, dan juga personal development selain topik-topik terkait data, nah itu bisa masuk ke counseling session. Terus exclusive career coaching workshop. Jadi di sini kita suka mengadakan karir coachingnya juga. Jadi kalau misalkan para murid Pacman ingin ingin membenahi CV, jadi CV-nya itu dibenahin dan untuk personal branding agar bisa diterima perusahaan. Nah, itu nanti akan ada di career coaching workshop, dan akan murid Pacman akan dididik untuk bisa membenahi CV untuk bisa terima di perusahaan. Terus juga konsisten schedule, karena kelas Pacman itu kan diadakan Sabtu dan Minggu, dan kelas itu akan selalu berlangsung selama Sabtu dan Minggu. Dan nanti di Senin sampai Jumat itu mengerjakan tugas dari yang kelas Sabtu dan Minggu. Dan kelas itu akan seperti itu, karena kelasnya kita itu dibuat supaya tidak merepotkan buat mahasiswa ataupun yang sudah bekerja maupun orang-orang yang aktivitasnya padat, itu masih tetap bisa masuk ke kelas Pacman. Nah, ini adalah job guaranteed programnya Pacman. Jadi di job guaranteed program Pacman itu murid-murid Pacman itu akan diberikan garansi mendapatkan pekerjaan gitu. jika dalam kurun waktu 1 tahun murid-murid Pacman tidak mendapatkan pekerjaan, 100% uang akan dikembalikan oleh Pacman. Itu sudah job guaranteed karena Pacman bekerja sama dengan hiring partnernya Pacman, dan pastinya harus memenuhi beberapa kriteria seperti nilai tinggi atau setiap kelas itu harus ikut, dan juga nilai portofolionya itu pasti nilainya harus bagus. Jadi itu beberapa persyaratan jika ingin mengikuti job guaranteed program. Terus ini adalah kelas Pacman, harga kelas Pacman untuk kelas Business Intelligence Program itu seharga 10 juta. Untuk kelas Data Science Program itu seharga 17,5 juta, dan Continuation Program itu sebesar 20 juta, atau kelas Business Intelligence plus Data Science. Dan pastinya kita juga akan mengadakan beberapa kemudahan finansial ya. Jadi kita akan metode bayar cash atau budget cicilan itu nanti kita bisa provide dari Pacman. Oke, terkait lebih detailnya, misalkan mau bertanya tentang kurikulumnya, atau misalkan mau mempertanyakan tentang proses cara bayarnya seperti apa gitu, dan bagaimana sih semua yang ada di Pacman itu langsung bisa kontak langsung ke pacman.io atau ke WhatsApp-nya langsung yang ada di layar ini gitu, dan bisa langsung datang ke website atau langsung tanya ke saya juga tuh langsung bisa gitu. Nah, untuk presentasi terkait non-degree program dari Pacman sudah berakhir. Bisa dilanjutkan, Kak Niki.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Kak Bilal. Oke, teman-teman, untuk yang penasaran bisa langsung scan QR code-nya aja. Nggak apa-apa Kak Bilal, nggak usah di-end screen dulu, supaya teman-teman bisa scan gitu. Oke. So, Tony and PD, let's get back to our discussion. There are already some of our audience who are asking some questions. The first question is from Palma. So thank you for the very insightful presentation. And the question is, which business segment would you focus on automating first? Because you guys say that automation is important in the future. It will be even more important in the future. So which business segment? Is it the product or operational aspect first? Tony?
Certainly the operations. So you find a lot of repeated work. Say a salesperson might talk to the customer, and that's the first phase. But then the ordering, the particular say invoicing and the payment, that part should be all automated. So if you ask me which area, I also work with supply chain. So a lot of the invoicing, a lot of the ordering, I've seen like people still type or send invoice. They can all be managed by blockchain, and that will be the first place I would do that. Invoicing. I love the there's even technology like say they connect to your printer, and your printer will just tell them, the ink is going to run out. So, and they will actually deliver to your footstep and say, hey, do you want that? Same thing happened with nappies and other product that people will need regularly. So that part, and Amazon actually patented one of the automations. So they know your buying pattern. They will send the goods to you. You just have to sign your signature and then receive it. Yeah.
I see. So it's so Tony said it's the operational first.
Operational predictive consumptions.
Yeah, because it's repetitive task, right? So what about PD? Maybe you have another
from my past experience, automation always come from the operations because for example, from my side in consumer lending is in the QIC process, right? Mm-hmm. If we target many customers that will approve in a daily basis, for example, we target 1,000 customers, right, to approve or to apply at least in a daily basis, then we must automate the process of the QIC itself, right? Checking KTP, checking the validate of your name, your KTP number, your address, it's not doing anymore manually with a person, but instead we are automating it with the algorithms and the AI products. So yeah, the operation will come first because naturally, I think AI nowadays are come to automate that repetitive process, right?
Yeah. So the keyword is repetitive. The repetitive.
Yeah, repetitive.
Yeah. Try to automate the repetitive task in your company or organization. Okay. Thank you. So a second question here. What is the KPI for the data scientist? Maybe, yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
In all the different modeling, you have performance measure. The company known one is the accuracy, but that one is not always applicable. You have other performance measure like AUC, you got KS measure, you got precision recall. The name go on, right? Now, business leaders should understand it's not by the profitability of the business to judge a data scientist. It's by how accurate, how well it balanced. Now, VD also talk about trade-off, the marketing and also the risk protection. Yeah. So how well you can trade off these two things. So depending on your size of the business, your business outcome will be different. So I think the best things to judge a data scientist on is using the performance measure of that model. If they can fine tune it to the best possible trade-off, that will be the best way to go. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So what about me?
Okay. So I think what Tony have said, I think it's correct. To judge the data scientist alone, you can try a different model metrics to measure the model that you've built, right? But please take notes that in industry we cannot do it alone. We should work with any stakeholders that have different objective and goals, right? If we are working with product managers and back-end engineers, for example, they usually want a data product that have low latency and fast while doing the inference, right? So it means that when you are building a model, you don't need a complex model that requires a lot of time to do inference, right? You need to build model that may be simple enough to do the inference while the performance of the model it's not bad, right? It's good enough. At least outperform the threshold, right? So that's the condition that we need to understand if we are working in industry, that working collaboration with any stakeholders requires a lot of objective, a lot of measurement that we need to adjust from ourselves on how do we build the model that will be the cutoff or be the intersection between other stakeholders.
I see. So accuracy should not be the sole measurement of the performance of the model.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
exactly.
It's more of the KPI of the model. But what about the KPI of the data scientist as a person? I mean, like as a role. So.
We know about soft skill, and I totally agree. Yeah, it's criminally underrated. So soft skill, how to work on both sides, be the one in the middle. The other part, if you look at the data science work, I think VT also experienced that 80% of it is data engineering. So be a good data engineer and solve the problem. So bring the data to the right place at the right time in the right format. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. So right place at the right time at the right format. That's interesting. Did you have another point of view?
Yes. Maybe just adding more the point that Tony has said that for the data product, from the perspective of data product, you must create a better data pipeline. Yeah, because 80% of our work is working with the data, right? Not creating the most powerful algorithm. Yeah, that's not the ultimate job for data scientists. But creating the correct data pipeline, the input, the
Yeah.
output. You must
Yeah.
create the test of input output, and make sure that your data is correct, both input and the output.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right, thank you. So another question is, Cyrus here wants to be a data scientist as a second job. So working on both sides, but I'm not sure what is the other side, what the other side is, but maybe like a different thing.
Yeah.
So is it possible?
The bright side and the dark side. Okay. The dark side of data scientists is you must try. Go to GitHub, download a project, play with it, understand the logic, read a lot of Wikipedia, understand the math. So data science is three things: your business logic, your technology, and your algorithm. So you have to master these three. Now also practice business. So understand how business works, understand the technology work, like work with R, work with Python. There's Julia as well. Work with algorithm. How do we calculate entropy? What is area under curve? That sort of jargon. You should understand that. So work hard, study hard. Yeah, play hard. Yeah.
Okay, so but is it possible to make data science as our second job?
Yeah. Everything's possible. I just say put effort into it. If you really aspire to be a data scientist,
I see.
Yeah. So learn it from. There's a lot of resources to say. I don't have to show people here. There's a lot of tutorial. There's a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of Medium. You just go and read it. And now the worst thing is I've seen in a lot of interview. They have this project in their GitHub, and I ask them, can you explain to me how this works? They say, oh, I copy from there. Please don't do that.
Okay. Just copy paste the project.
Yeah. Go through the learning process, understand what it means, go through the hard work. Yeah, really also gone through a bachelor in OE, right? Yes. Yeah. A lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, a lot of study. Yes. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can always study with Pac-Man too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pac-Man. As I say, the university are not catching up with the latest technology. So one of the advantage with Pac-Man is you can learn the latest. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I will send it to you again, the link about our program. Okay, maybe this is gonna be our last question tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so Adrian here has read many sources that business intelligence analyst is making a summary from past data to make business decision, and data scientist is making a future prediction with machine learning. Is it really correct in the industry? Like BI make business from past data.
So in analytics we have descriptive and predictive and prescriptive. So the best stage is actually you want to make things happen. Yeah, you want to make things happen. So you are creating a future. I would say it's possible for business intelligence analysts to become a data scientist. There's a few additional things you have to learn. But generally, that's correct. Business intelligence kind of look backward in time. Machine learning and data scientists look forward in time and they try to predict what will happen next. Yeah.
I see. So what about Intraveloka? Is BI focused on the past data and
I think BI and data scientist is really depends. The job description itself is really depends on what companies that you are in, right? In Traveloka, BI and data scientist is different. BI, yes, as you are writing in the chat said that that BI is really working on the resume or dashboard, right? Reporting. But data scientists more working towards the data product. It means that you can create a solution that based on the machine learning algorithm. The end product can be an API, or it can be an output, whether it's a CSV file or anything that can be consumed with a backend team. So yeah, I think that's the difference.
I see. So yeah, it really depends on which company you're working at. Okay. All right then. So maybe one bonus question. Is that okay?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. So do you guys have any insight or advice on how to improve our analytical skill?
Use common sense. Yeah. So when you create a BI, ask your friend to read it, and if they have no questions, ask you, then you pass. If they ask you, what does it mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Then you fail.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
So common sense. Yeah. So a lot of the time I work with young BI practitioner, and they produce a graph. They think, oh, that's brilliant, Tony. I got this graph out. What's the meaning of y-axis? Where's the unit of measurement? Where's your title? You know, where's your legends? What does this red line mean? What's that blue line mean? First thing, presentation.
That's common sense. Yeah.
Your friend to read it, and if your friend have no question, oh, I got what you mean. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, if your friend say, what's that? Yeah, don't bother me. Do something else.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's like like newbie mistake. What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Beginner's mistake. Exactly. Rookie mistake. That's the word.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
so
yeah, rookie mistake. Yeah,
rookie mistake.
Yeah. For me, it's not about statistical algorithm, machine learning things. Technical one is important, right? But the other most important thing is asking the right questions for the right. I mean, if you know what is the problem, right? Then you can find the data that may be related to the problem that might answer the question. So having a lot of data, having much of data, having a lot of knowledge of statistics, it will not bring you any impact if you didn't ask the right questions for the problems. So understand the problem more, right? Read a lot of more business context, maybe, if you're working in industry. Please reading a lot of background context of the problem that you are working on and asking the right question out of it.
I see. Asking the right question. Yeah, that's a very insightful. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, and I think I missed one question.
Yeah, can I address that one? It's very quick.
Sure.
R and Python.
Yeah. Sure.
R is a functional language to start with. So you can write a very complex functions with only a few lines. Python is a procedural language, so very powerful, a lot of library. And one particular features in Python is better than R is the web scraping. So should you learn them all? Yeah, I learned a lot. Back in the day, we start with basic Pascal, VB, Huskies, PC scheme, Lisp, you name it. You shouldn't limit yourself in terms of what you learn. JavaScript, anything that caught your eye, just play with it. Yeah, that's your tools. That's your skill set. Yeah, the more tools in your tools box, the better you can perform your job, just like plumbers or any electrician. Okay. Yeah, the more tools you have, the better you can do your job.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I see. Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much for our discussion this evening. It's very insightful and interesting. it's really fun too, of course. And yeah,
Glad you
I
enjoy it.
yeah, I really enjoy it, and I hope our audience here enjoyed it as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Tony and Vidi. I hope we can
Thanks a
discuss
lot, Nikki.
later
Thank
soon.
Yeah.
Discuss more about other
Okay.
things in machine
Okay.
learning and data science.
Yeah.
Oke, dan terima
Thank
kasih
you.
teman-teman semua yang hadir di sini.
Thank you.
Semoga sehat
Bye-bye.
selalu dan selamat malam. Good night.
Good
Have a
night.
good rest.